much as we do. And we did. So also the second reason why it's so special, that's this event in Doha was, of course, it was our first hybrid event. And hybrid, I mean virtual plus on-site event. So our team include the same views of the St. Regis location, which just was a hotel location in our platform. The virtual and on-site participants were able to network together, and of course, our BIZZ winners who show their product and service from their booths through videos and brochures that they can upload. So we started with this virtual way of awarding in our World Cup Virtual Summit in 2020, and we discovered all the benefits that a virtual event can bring. So it was a great experience, and that's why now the BIZZ Awards has turned to the BIZZ Hybrid Awards. So what do you think about this event, Daniel? Do you remember this event in November?
As you told, it was really excited to participate again, to meet again with you, with our other members of the team, and with the company members and a lot of friends that we haven't been able to see for 2 years. So it was wonderful. It was also with the support of the government. It was very important, right, because the Minister of Tourism prepared activities for us to visit the city, as we can see in the video, as we can see in the video. So it was really a beautiful event. Thanks God it was successful, like always.
Right. And let us thank you for reminding me that. Let us thank again Qatar Tourism, which is of course from the Ministry of Tourism of Qatar, from their support, for their sponsorship. They sure help us a lot in organizing this event. So usually after nominating a company and the evaluation committee decides that your company is a BIZZ winner, we normally invite you for our events that we organize. This year we have the BIZZ Signature, which is next week in Houston. We have an event in Toronto also, and the one in Kazakhstan. That probably will be next year. So I think, Daniel, we're ready to start our conferences. I will leave you, but we will meet in the end of the session.
Thanks, Jesus, for your words. And yes, let's start presenting our first speaker. It's an honor to have with us Dr. Beatrice Wiafe. Her extensive training, wide scope of study as a specialist breast pathologist with over 30 years experience as a medical doctor and 20 years experience as a consultant breast surgeon has placed her at the convenient exposition as the Chief Executive Officer and the Senior Medical Officer of the Peace and Love Hospitals in Accra and Kumasi, a specialist hospital that is championing the course of breast cancer management in Ghana and beyond. Having completed a specialization as the first Ghanaian female general surgeon with a PhD, she founded BreastcareInternational 20 years ago in Ghana as a non-governmental organization and traveling across the country screening and educating women and men about breast cancer and other non-communicable diseases, cervical cancer, hypertension, diabetes, and prostate cancer. BCI is one-of-a-kind NGO in West Africa that directly works with its sister organizations, Peace and Love Hospitals in Accra and Kumasi, Ghana. She founded the PLH in 2002 to complement BCI's work and provide holistic continuous medical care. BCI has been on community outreach programs in 8 out of the 10 regions of Ghana and treat patients from other West African countries like Liberia, Togo, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria. She was part of the team of healthcare professionals that who contributed to developing the Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance from Ghana, Advocacy Strategy Plan 2020-23, and the National Strategy for Cancer Control in Ghana 2012-2016. Over the years, both organizations has collaborated with scientists to research breast cancer in Ghanaian women with multiple scientific publications. It's an honor to receive Dr. Beatrice Wiafe, and let's first assist a video presenting her.
This is a great achievement that I find so wonderful, and to be invited to receive this great award. It's an honor to me and my team back at home, and I think it's a good thing for our breast cancer survivors in Ghana, Africa, and throughout the world.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot to the organization for giving us this award. And we will, in turn, like to donate this award to our very hardworking team at BreastcareInternational, Peace and Love Hospitals in Accra and Kumasi. And then would like to also acknowledge our breast cancer survivors all around the world, and most especially in Ghana. Thank you very much. I hope you're having a lovely evening. Thank you so much.
You need to have passion, you need to love what you do, and you need to also believe in yourself. And once you do that, the world will be watching you, and they will be giving you all the encouragement to move forward.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me first thank the organizers and the BIZZ webinars organizers for inviting me to do this presentation. And at this point, I want to touch on breast cancer and what we've been able to do in Ghana, West Africa, for our people. So if we look at breast cancer, is the most common cancer in the world. And according to WHO, over 70% of cancer deaths occur in the low and middle income countries, and my country is one of those. Unfortunately, most of the women affected by breast cancer in Ghana are below the age of 50, about 58%. And this means that breast cancer is no more a matter of public health issue, but rather a developmental and an economic issue for our women. In Ghana, according to GlobalCan, about 4,050 women are diagnosed annually. And out of this, I'm sorry I have to show the bad slide. My next slide is very bad, but sometimes we have to say it as it is. Majority of our patients come in late stage disease. That's about 60 to 70% of our patients. And our mortality rate is so high, about 50+%. These are the cases that we see on daily basis. Forgive me for showing this bad slide. But Dr. Martin Luther King said that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And that is why in 2002, we founded the BreastcareInternational to create awareness among the population, to improve diagnosis and treatment, to advocate for acceptable screening and treatment modalities. We are in the part of the world where screening mammography is not existent. Does not exist. So we have to find other means of screening for the disease, increase survival rates and reduce morbidity and mortality, to establish a database for breast cancer through research, and to train manpower in oncology, especially our community-based nurses, and also to fundraise to support needy or vulnerable breast cancer patients and survivors. Why do we have our patients reporting so late? This is because of the myths and the misconceptions surrounding the disease. A lot of women think it's not curable. They think it's caused by witchcraft or evil spirits. They think it's a spiritual disease. It's by faith. It's a result of a curse on a family. especially when you have a positive family history cases. They think that women die from mastectomy. So because of all these negative things, women, breast cancer is stigmatized. And so the woman who has even found a problem with the breast finds it difficult to share it with anyone, including her spouse. But there are barriers that the woman has to overcome. The lack of awareness is a huge barrier. Inadequate or bad treatment, the cost involved in treatment, the distance, all the treatment centers are in the cities. Lack of counseling, and sometimes you have even the husband leaving the house because the wife has been diagnosed with breast cancer. And so there's a huge lack of support. So we have the Office of Breast Care International is located in the Peace and Love Hospital. Let me show just a few structures in the hospital. That's the Peace and Love Hospital in Kumasi. We have one in Accra, the capital. And what we are saying is that breast cancer is no respecter of persons. No profession is spared, whether it's a farmer, she's a trader, she's a doctor, a police person, a driver, a teacher. It doesn't matter what the woman does. Breast cancer can strike. And so we start teaching our women how to do breast self-examination. In countries where they do screening mammography, breast self-examination is not so important. But because we don't do screening mammography, we don't have it in our country, we need to teach our women how to know their bodies, how to know how their breasts look like and how they feel like, and encourage them to examine, to look for abnormalities like LUMHS or this abnormal discharge or whatever, that will send them to the hospital for early diagnosis and treatment. We use the BCI breast cancer control model, where we have the Peace and Love hospitals treating diagnosis and treatment, survivorship, to the follow-up programs, and palliative care. And also we have the healthier community, which is being taken care of by BreastcareInternational. That's the community outreach programs, breast health volunteers, awareness programs, the screen and refer programs. So we go to the churches, we go to the mosque, we go to the schools, the communities, workplaces to educate and also to screen the congregation for the other non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes. When we do clinical breast examination, we look out for lumps like the one we are showing. We also do yearly nationwide awareness creation walks, where we gather a lot of people, thousands of people. I'm sorry, I had a patient enter, I'm sorry. So we gather a lot of women and men, young boys and girls to create awareness about breast cancer. We've been doing this campaign, this big awareness campaign, which was started as the Susan G. Komen Ghana Walk for a Race for the Cure, which later on became the BCI Ghana Walk for the Cure. We started by having 13,000 people, and it's, kept increasing every year till 2019, when we had 43,000 people coming to work for the cure, but COVID struck, so we had to put a halt to the walks. We are hoping that 2022, we are going to have a work after the COVID. And we hope to start creating awareness because COVID did a lot of harm to us. It's actually made an already bad situation worse. A lot of women were, scared to go to the hospitals. After the lockdown, people were afraid to even report cases. So we are seeing very advanced stages in our hospitals now, which is unacceptable. We have presidents working with us, vice presidents, first ladies, and that is the First Lady of Ghana working with us in 2017. So we've managed to bring together politicians, parliamentarians, the young people, corporate Ghana, to come together and to work for the cure that we all need. We also realize that we don't have a lot of people with the requisite knowledge in oncology. So we had to start training nurses, community-based nurses. The media, our media people are very strong when it comes to discussing politics and football. And so we decided to train them in basic cancer knowledge so that they will be able to help us in creating the needed awareness. Young Ambassadors Program, we've been training the youth in the senior high schools so that they will also have some information, some knowledge, grow up with the knowledge, and help us to educate their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunties about breast cancer. We also had to train our breast cancer survivors who came out to volunteer their time so that they will know how to share their stories. And as we speak, the Hope Project, helping others through their personal experiences, has been adopted by the Advanced Breast Cancer team as a toolkit for other countries to use. So newly diagnosed breast cancer patients are assigned to the breast cancer survivors to help them navigate them through their treatment journeys. So there are a lot of activities, education and awareness campaigns and clinical screenings, training of the nurses. These are all ongoing programs, education and screening at the lorry terminals. And we know that a lot of women are busy. They travel from one city to the other. So we needed to catch them at the lorry terminals and also screen them at the terminals. And also when they are traveling, we show them the audiovisual documentaries on breast cancer instead of them watching films on their journey. So if the woman will be traveling for 6 hours, she has the opportunity to watch some documentary about breast cancer. These are ongoing programs, and so we want people who are watching us, if you are interested, you can reach out to us so that we move along with you on these programs that we are embarking upon. The support for the poor breast cancer patients and survivors is also very important, because if you educate the woman, you clinically examine, and the woman cannot afford the diagnosis and treatment, it means we haven't helped much. So that is what we have been doing. We had to bring together breast cancer survivors from across the country, including some of them from the West Africa sub-region. And it's all with a mission to improve the quality of life of the breast cancer survivors. and also to bring them together, those who have survived the journey, and to also help to demystify breast cancer, and by so removing the fear surrounding the disease. During the walks, we invite very popular musicians who are ambassadors to Breast Care International. So we see one of our very popular musicians treating the survivors to some music so that they can also have fun during the walks. That's the time that we showcase survivorship, and also that's the time that we let people know that you can have breast cancer and survive it and go back to your normal duties. We also have the group called the Survivor Babies Association. So you see some young kids among the survivors whose mothers and grandmothers are breast cancer survivors, or whose mothers have even lost the battle to breast cancer. So we bring them together. Some of them need to go back to school because they dropped out of school because, since their mothers had the disease. So these are the people we normally find support for them. We also have, sometimes we bring the survivors together, and then we do this kind of events that we get support from the GTP, that is a textile association, a textile company in Ghana, and they give us materials that we sew for the breast cancer survivors, and then they do photo shoots, things that encourage them, give them some hope in life. Throughout our activities, we've been invited to the pink ribbon, red ribbon events of President George Bush and the wife. And so they invited us to make presentations and join them at dinners. We've also been invited by President Joe Biden and the wife, Jill Biden. And these are all taps on the shoulder that we appreciate a lot. We are partners to Direct Relief, a non-governmental organization or not-for-profit organization in the US, who has been donating drugs and hospital equipment for us to in turn donate to other hospitals and health posts. So we are always grateful to Direct Relief for the help. As we speak, we are expecting a consignment of breast cancer medications for the poor breast cancer patients. With the consent of one of our patients, I'm showing this huge breast cancer picture. She reported after several years of seeking help in the prayer camps, in the traditional healers, until she came to our hospital. This is the first time she reported. No chemotherapy would actually kick this kind of tumor, so we had to give her the chance of doing a mastectomy. We thought it was palliative mastectomy. We did it for her. It's 10 years now. And this is Joyce after treatment, whilst she's using the prosthesis. And she shows her prosthesis and her scar to the women to encourage them that you can survive even after mastectomy. Joyce is now employed at the Peace and Love Hospital, and she's always part of the Breast Care International team going out for awareness programs. So we know that the breast cancer survivors go through a lot. So survivorship in the low and middle income countries is a huge problem. These patients are faced with a lot of tasks. The communication gap, which brings about stigma and the silence about their disease, the difficulty in reintegrating these patients back into their normal lives because of the financial toxicity. After they've gone through the treatment, they lose their capital, and so they are not able to properly rehabilitate. There's no social support system for the vulnerable. So we have a system where we fundraise for such patients. There's a lot of research that we also need to do. What I'm saying is that it behoves on all of us as those who can make a difference to do everything in our power to save as many lives as we can. Let's all join in the fight. We are stronger together. And at this point, I want to introduce you to our social media handles on our website, the Facebook, email addresses, YouTube, the Twitter handles, and those who will be touched to contribute something to these vulnerable women. If you go to BCI America, bciamerica.org, you can click the donate button and help contribute your quota towards these women. I want to thank Welcome for the recognition, and I'm very touched by even the video that was shown before my presentation. I didn't know, it's a surprise, a pleasant surprise to me. I didn't know you had this video in your office. Thank you so much. Thanks to the CEO, and thank you, my fellow people who are going to present today. I wish you all well. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, Dr. Beatrice Wiafe. And
Gracias.
Really beautiful to remember that moment in the ceremony when you received the award. It was really beautiful. And then you bring us immediately to this reality, the difficulties and the challenges that you're facing every day in your labor. So thanks for joining us, and we will have the opportunity to talk again at the end of the webinar.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Dr. Beatrice. And let's continue presenting our next speaker, Professor Binafsha Mansour Sayed. Welcome and thanks for joining us. She is PhD, Director Medical Research Center of the Liaquat University of Medical and Health Sciences. And thanks for joining us because you are on behalf of Professor Ikram Dean. He wasn't able to join us today, but thanks again for your presence, and please, you can start with your conference, Dr. Binafsha Sayed.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So can you see my slide? Yes. From here, they've been shared. It's not coming up. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Welcome, for inviting us because my university was invited, but the interesting coincidence is because I'm also breast cancer specialist, and I did my PhD in breast surgery from University of Nottingham, and since 2011 I'm working here in Pakistan. So I'll share my journey, and I was really impressed by the work Dr. Beatrice is doing. So at the end I'll show you the slide, and there is a great room that we can collaborate. So before I discuss about breast cancer again, I wanted to share our presentation today about my university, that we were invited to speak about business excellence in health sector. And because we are a medical university, so before we Yeah. So I will play a brief introduction video of my university.
Liaquat University of Medical Science, first seat of medical learning in Sindh, situated about 150 kilometers north to Karachi and 50 kilometers from the city of Hyderabad. During its journey for more than 50 years, it made tremendous contribution in medical education, research, and healthcare. The college also started postgraduate courses in various disciplines of medical science. It was upgraded as postgraduate institute in 1989. In almost all disciplines of medicine, surgery, dentistry, and allied sciences. It is worth mentioning that General Medical Council of the UK granted recognition of its MBBS degree immediately after its first batch passed out in 1956. It attained the status of medical university in 2001 by an ordinance from Sindh. It offers postgraduate courses including PhD in more than 100 disciplines. Liaquat University of Medical and Health Sciences receives students from all over the country as well as foreign countries and has over 30 affiliated colleges. It provides boarding facility to over 3,000 students, both male and female. The vision and mission of LUMHS clearly outlines the roadmap that this university has set for itself. There is an Arabic quote that says, "He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything." LUMHS, in that sense, is cultivating and constantly nurturing hope in the region as well as the country. In the scientific world, the only thing that is permanent is change.
So that was a brief intro of my university, and I just wanted to make a slide share. Yeah, so we are situated here in Pakistan, and we are from province of Sindh, and in Sindh we are here at Jamshedpur. As you know, we are a medical university, so we have limited options for as a business avenues. And we provide medical education. So what we have is actually knowledge economy that we work in. We offer medical sciences courses and dental sciences, and most of these courses are already designated by the government, and so being government sector university, we do not earn much from this. So we are contributing in economy generation of the country and globally. Then a few years back, then we realized that there are a few professions which are oversaturated and there are no job openings for them. And there are some other professions like technologists and other allied subjects where there are no strong human resource being offered. So we started a College of Technology, and I'll show you in a minute that what courses we offer. Similarly, we have a postgraduate program that is quite advanced. We have all clinical courses and basic sciences courses. So the College of Technology offers all diploma courses that are in all technologies, and these are offered to national and international students. So we have shorter programs, and then we have full degree programs that are separately introduced and also part of the College of Technology. Like the Doctor of Physiotherapy, we have Institute of Physiotherapy, then we have well-established Institute of Pharmacy, and then Biomedical Engineering Technology, and we offer full degree programs, 4 years and 5 years. Similarly, we have nursing, and radiological technology, we have molecular biology and genetics, and also forensic related courses. These were the courses that we started according to the national and international demand of human resource. In postgraduate programs, we have all clinical short-term diplomas and proper degree programs. And in basic sciences, we have MPhil and PhD. We also have a PhD program in clinical sciences, and also we offer allied sciences, masters and MPhil programs. And these are open for all national and international students. Then because as a medical university, we do not have many options to develop our business. So we started with a diagnostic and research laboratory that was established in 2004 as a central laboratory. Then it was expanded to a whole province, and we have small state labs and larger labs. The beauty of this diagnostic research laboratory is that we provide tests at economical cost, at really cheap rate as compared to other private laboratories without compromising its quality. So we import all the reagents from international companies that are being used everywhere in the world. We also have all the machines and equipment that are world-class standard, but we provide that service to the community at the lowest possible cost. So when we started with the central laboratory. Now we have laboratories everywhere in our province. Then, another thing that, pure drinking water and clean water is a global issue. And like many other, in fact, all countries, we also have a trend of bottled water. And that was putting a huge economical burden on individuals, households, and also on our institution, because we stay here for almost a whole day, so we need drinking water. In order to respond to that problem and cut the cost of this drinking water, we started our own bottled water company, and we named it as LUMHS because it's an Arabic phrase, word. Ab means water. So that is water from LUMHS. That is our brand name. Liaquat University is LUMHS. So, and the beauty is because we have our own water testing laboratory. So we test each batch of bottles before we market them. And we market them in these bottles in our whole region. The cost of this is 1/3 of any commercial water bottle. That is again quite economical if people are using, when people take it. So these were our currently running businesses. Then we have a few things that we are planning to start, and everything is all set to launch these companies. The first one is biomedical engineering prototypes. I mentioned earlier that we have a well-equipped Institute of Biomedical Engineering and Technology, and we have biomedical engineers, and then our students are supposed to have projects each year when they have to do their research work. So we give them a proper target to make some equipment. We have developed a few prototypes which we are planning to launch this year, by the end of this year, hopefully. And for that, we are now in process of registering a business company to market these prototypes. But for this, we are happy to collaborate, and soon we'll have an exhibition of our prototypes of different equipments. These equipments are not really high MRI machines. These are small gadgets that are being used in clinics and wards and hospitals. And these are really user-friendly, and most of them are portable. Another business company which we are going to launch and all set is a pharmaceutical company, because we are a medical university. So developing the generic drugs, and because we have a huge research institute established in our university, and I'm a director of that. So collaborating with the pharmacy department and our medical research center, we are launching this pharmaceutical company where we are going to produce generic drugs as well as new drugs which we are doing research. So I'll be happy if anyone is interested and want to collaborate with us. Then the research part, because most of our faculty is PhD. And interestingly, I did my PhD in 2011 in breast cancer, knowing that breast cancer is very common in Pakistan, and its survival is not as good as in US and UK. So I started a breast cancer research project that was funded by our Higher Education Commission of Pakistan. And interestingly, the breast cancer in Pakistani population is much aggressive as compared to UK population, because I did my PhD from UK. So I worked on breast cancer in British women. When I compared it with Pakistani women, so it was really aggressive as compared to the British woman. Then we compared it with the other European women. Again, it was much aggressive, but it is relatively less aggressive as compared to African population. So I'll be happy to collaborate with Dr. Beatrice. Then we can have joint projects and do some screening together, and then compare the biology and then correlate and compare the biology, and so that we can have less expensive treatment for cancer. So our medical research center, it has two divisions, basic research department and a clinical research department. Our basic research department works on proteomics and genomic research, drug discovery, and then we try that on animal models. In our clinical research department, we work on different biomarker discovery that includes prognostic and predictive markers. We have cell line stem cell research and cell culture laboratory, and then clinical trial unit. Now, as I said, my expertise were in breast cancer, but when I joined university and I started looking at breast cancer in Pakistan, I collected data from 2008 till date, and in that database, and again, that data was supported by Globocon, it said that oral cancer is very common in Pakistan. It is then crossing breast cancer. So then we started working on oral cancer as well. Then colorectal cancer is also quite common. So eventually we end up working on almost all cancers. And now we have our well-established cancer research laboratory. Currently, we are working on the biological characterization of different cancers. They are present in Pakistani population. And we are also inviting collaborations from our international scientists and doctors who are working in cancer. So anyone who wants to collaborate with us or want to share something, have joint research projects, we'll be happy to collaborate. Here's my personal email address. You can visit our website and just take a look what we are doing and just drop me an email. So thank you very much. Thank you again, Daniel and Joanna. You have been really good in coordination with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, Professor Binafsha Mansour Sayed. Thanks for joining the reality of Pakistan in the region, and we will have the opportunity to talk again at the end of the webinar. And now we will continue presenting Mr. Hugo Cochrane. I will do the presentation in Spanish. We will continue in Spanish because we are going to Argentina right now, but you have the opportunity, remember, to hear the translation. You had two channels, and you can listen for his presentation also in English. El señor Hugo Cochrane es presidente de Drogueria Rosfar, que participa en la Bolsa de Comercio de Rosario. En la Asociación
He participates in the Argentinian Council and the Association of Distributors. Rosfar Drugstores is a company which started from 1984 for viral drugs. It's located in Argentina, and it's completely focused on the Argentinian improvements regarding drugs. The commitment of Rosfar is to guarantee that the drugs have a right quality to optimize the results in patients. They are looking for innovation, technology to improve the conditions of storage and distribution of products. Rosfar is a pioneer company. They have an ISO certification, and it's the first drugstore in Argentina certifying their products from 1987 regarding distribution, oncological drugs, specialized treatments, and they have a certification in compliance, consolidating their leadership in Argentina from 1984. They have a special commitment with their employees, with clients, distributors, and with the rest of the community. They are certified with social responsibility. This shows a commitment with their certifications. They develop a social responsibility program, and additionally, they belong to the United Nations Compact Agreement from 2007. They are one of the first drugstores applying this specialized system, and it's the first company in the sector developing a robotization program for the dispatchment of drugs. It's an honor to have the CEO here and remember his presentation.
Bueno, para nosotros es muy importante.
Well, for us, it's very important this BIZZ award because it's awarding the hard work that we've been carrying out every year. And I would really thank, first of all, my family. A part of it is present to our staff because without any of them will be impossible to carry it out with our company. I would like to thank the Confederation because in reality, they are truly awarding big companies, however, as well, the medium-sized and small size who are the real hard workers, daily workers, especially in our countries. So in reality, I really wanted to mention something about what is going on in our city of Rosario. It is an ongoing issue related with the work that we started within the Confederation about business social responsibility. Today, we're carrying out a meeting with a group of dreamers, group of people, men and women with our relatives of leukemia patients that start working in order to organize, to build a house for the youngers with ongoing treatment patients. So this award is for this Oncological Foundation of Argentina. Very thank you. So we are constantly renewing and investing in order to improve our processes so each day provide a better service to our customers.
Hola. Bueno, buenos días.
Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending of where you are in different parts of the world where my colleagues from the panel and the participants are. So today I'm going to let you know a little bit about our path towards excellence, because our company is a company that started in the year 1984 was an enterprise that started working with not with oncological medications or drugs, but over-the-counter medication. And then now that we're in a globalized world and we live through the world, we start seeing lots of distributors. So we started working as a company because of these new oncological drugs distributors. We start fabricating these drugs. So in the years 94, we received the visit of our marketing professors, Mr. Drecker. So it was an event with 1,500 business people and he addressed a subject that we didn't understand very well. Back then he started talking of ISO regulation. We're talking of Argentina during the 90s, so we didn't know very well about pretty much this kind of matter. So we started to research about what this ISO certification meant, and we realized that was very important in order to start our excellence path and become a very excellent distribution chain. So for us at Working Excellence, it is all about the distribution process of drugs in all our country. So in 1997, we got this ISO 9000 certification. We certified all our processes within the company because there are some companies that talks of these ISO regulations or normativities and they only certified, the call center. So the most capillary thing under our point of view is to certify all the processes, especially the ones that are in charge of the care in the production of medication that has to be distributed at patients, like patients of Professor Prof. So we got the ISO 9000 certification, and on the 2000, we were selected and we were invited by the Confederation in order to receive this award. So in 2005, we was awarded in Houston with a very beautiful ceremony that there was a point when we truly committed to continue working in depth in quality. So we start to monitor our quality process in our distribution chain. So we start to see how in the world there were some processes applied that we weren't aware in our country that allows you the traceability. The traceability is a file number that has the drug information. So it's like a picture. It's a way to explain it. It's like a file number that is unique and identifies this drug. So this drug, since it enters in our company in 2007, up to the outcome of the whole process, we were able to trace this product. So we could have carried out total owned process by our company. So in 2013, the regulator in Argentina started to demand to each laboratory the traceability for some of their products. So up to this day, not all the products are traceable as the regulator mandates. However, our company is able to trace 100% of our production. So with this, you can have enough confidence, enough trust as a client towards the pharmaceuticals and laboratories. So in 2010, we start to grow, and for this, Rosfar, as you know, is a company that is located in the province of one of the biggest provinces in Argentina. So it's not so easy to be a leader and to grow as we did as today, dealing with the quality issues. So in 2010, we start our automatization and robotization process. Our request of product request is all automatized, and as well the coolant chains and environmental temperature of 46 degrees Celsius are being automatized. The coolant is for specific medications because it reaches down to 8 degrees of temperature. And as you can see with this video, this is the operator, and what is showing you, this is the coolant chain, the cold chain that uses coolants during the whole process, and how all the room temperature products are kept in that status along the whole process. So we signed the Pact of United Nations supporting the 10 principles of human rights, environmental, socials, and productions. So in October 2012, we had the certification of Work Comp for entrepreneurial social responsibility. So now we've been working in this field. I was thank you for this video that you share. I was remember what happened, the meeting that was held in Rosario, where we start planning, building this house in order to grant support to these young leukemia patients. So today this house is a reality. The house was built. It is about to start operations. It is a huge happiness and pride for the founder of this house. And it's great to have the fathers of patients coming in from different regions inside our country or from our inner country that sometimes didn't have the resources enough in order to stay in our hotel and get food, because we're talking of very vulnerable households. We as well grant tuition aid for several students, for several universities, and we work with the food bank, which is an entity that it works at world level. In Argentina, is present in the whole country, and it's a bank that works with products, food products, because the motto is nothing is throw away, everything it is reusable. And for this, it was issued a law for the restoration industry in order for them to donate the production that wasn't sold for the day, because before that was thrown away in the garbage, and people has to fetch these products, this food from the trash cans and trash containers. Sometimes we find vegetables and legumes that are in fresh state and has thrown away. So now this law is issued due to the economical crisis that Argentina is facing. However, as you can see, all our activities are dedicated as well into sanitize water and to provide water services for fresh and drinking water for communities. So for the most vulnerable school kids, we give them fresh water for them to drink, and we raise awareness that they cannot drink the water directly or strictly from the river as they do. So we had the participation of several parents that we invite them to the schools, because we want to raise an awareness of them, as well as not to leave the faucet open when they are cooking or washing the dishes and this kind of information. So about our entrepreneurial activities, in 2011, we were awarded by the Inter-American Development Bank with the seal of clean production. In 2019, we started working for a compliance process for our company, the whole company, for all the processes. So currently these processes make the relationships between employees, community providers, contractors, with fostering a campaign of absolute respect of human rights. And for this, we have issued a label that has been respected by all consultants, contractors, processors, operators, and employers in Rosfar. We got very clear that we are a company of drug distribution. However, we are responsible of how we treat these medications, because the whole work that, as we saw through the video, the hard work of the doctors day by day in the hospitals. Can you imagine the effects of a drug that hasn't been properly cared while it was going through the whole distribution process with enough care to ensure that the product is going to be well efficient in order to treat and heal these patients? So we have very clear that our business is the quality and the distribution of these drugs. Let me repeat, we are not producing anything, we just distribute. And the most important thing for us is what we distribute today, it reached every part of the Republic of Argentina with products, oncological products, and some other drugs that arrives to the client, to the final destination with the thermical packaging, with proper labeling, with information about our company, about the cold chamber processes, because we're very attentive of closing every gap, every damage, every hotspot, which are the places that reach temperatures that are limits above the range. In this case, they are immediately corrected. The cold flow, it is guaranteed. Our cold chamber has been audited by two companies that constantly audits 24 hours, 365 days of the year, this process. And but in front of facing every event, we are immediately notified. So maintenance staff monitors any problems or any case of false alarms. So due to this high level of quality that we reach and the excellence in our work, because I always say every day we insist a little bit more in order to show the world how active we are, how we work in our CA and quality. So for this, we had the participation very important because it was held during this pandemic. There were some products that we distribute that were used in order to mitigate the symptoms of some ICU unit patients. So we feel very proud to be able to carry out this enormous work. And everything else that we had to do, actually, we had part of our staff committed, and all our staff actually gave us the best response in order to guarantee the availability of medication for each one of the pharmacies of our country. So this is all about Rosfar. This is everything that I wanted to share with you, and I'm open for all your questions and comments. Thank you very much. I'm waiting for your questions.
Much for the presentation, Dr. Hugo. This is a company which works based on confidence, because it's not only about focusing on the traceability, on the quality, on the consideration of relationship with the stakeholders, but also the warranties of those different certifications comprising all different processes. Thank you very much, Dr. Hugo, for your presentation.
3 speakers, because we have the opportunity now to have a chat with them. And so I will thank again. It was really, I feel really proud about these members, these organizations that have shown the different realities in Pakistan, in Ghana, in the region, and also in Argentina, right? So how the problem of the water in Pakistan, Professor Binafsha was remarking, and how Hugo Cochrane works trying to give awareness about how difficult it is to have water in the faucet, right? It's something that maybe sometimes it's a different reality, that you just need to open the faucet and you can have the water to drink, right? And Dr. Beatrice, maybe we can start with you with a question. You show us the difficulties, the challenges that you have been facing in the awareness and the treatment of the breast cancer. I can't imagine how the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, affected the treatment, because it was a delay. It was not possible to. If it was complicated, pandemic was something completely came to disrupt everything.
Yes, thank you so much. And like I said earlier, it came to make an already bad situation worse. So patients were, to start with, those who had even found abnormalities in their breasts were scared to go to the hospitals. Most hospitals were closed. And also the lockdown was not allowing people to travel from one city to the other. And in my presentation, you realize that I mentioned that most of our treatment centers are in the cities. So the woman who has found a lump in her breast or an abnormality had nowhere to go for treatment but to stay at home. Those who had already started chemotherapy, they had to hold on because they couldn't travel and the hospitals were closed for any treatment. All surgical interventions were also closed. So those who needed, for example, breast conserving surgery could not have it done. And eventually they would either have a mastectomy or become inoperable at all. So diseases that were at, let's say, stage 2 would then be found at stage 4 because they couldn't get the treatment they needed. So COVID has come to make things very bad. And so after COVID, we had to go back to people and encourage them to come to the hospital, encourage them to go and start their treatment because the fear of catching COVID in the hospitals still lingers around. So it's been a very bad thing. And also don't forget that a lot of people have become poorer because of COVID. A lot of people were laid down out of their jobs. They were just sent back home. So those who had some work to do and could cater for themselves are not able to get money for their treatment. So it's really hard for them now.
Dr. Beatrice, I have a question for you from Nigeria that comes from Mr. Oladele. How do your employees and volunteers feel about the recognition of the BIZZ Awards? It felt a difference before and after winning the award, because something that we work hard is to give visibility to what you do. And one of the things that you are looking for is to give awareness, to give visibility to these programs that you have and how women must be careful about this. And men also.
Yes, I think most often the staff are even more excited than myself because it's another feather in the cap that, yes, their efforts have been appreciated. So the staff are always very happy. Our breast cancer survivors have always been associating themselves with the award. And I'm happy we heard it in the video that was saying that the award was rather being dedicated to the staff, the volunteers who wake up early in the morning at dawn to travel to the communities, to the villages, to go and create awareness and to clinically go and screen people. And also it's an encouragement that the work that we have been doing is something that has been very impactful. And I want to thank World Cup for even identifying us, looking out for us, and giving us the award on regular basis. Thank you so much. We just cannot thank you well enough. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Beatrice. I have another question. It seems that in the platform that the people that has joined us, looking at the videos, concerned about the ceremonies. They have seen the beautiful ceremonies. And I have a question from Rafael Hernandez from Colombia, and he doesn't specify to who is the question, but I will ask to Mr. Cochrane. Le voy a preguntar al señor Cochrane, una pregunta de Rafael Hernández de Colombia.
I'm going to make a question from a person in Colombia.
Because he has participated in a lot of ceremonies. Le voy a preguntar porque participó en muchas ceremonias de World Cup desde 2005 prácticamente, que fue la...
He participated in different ceremonies organized by World Cup in Houston. So he has been with us for a lot of years. So which one was your preferred ceremony? Well, the one I preferred always will be the first, the one the one which was organized in Houston. But I mean, all of them were splendid. It's very difficult to choose a ceremony because World Cup World Cup has surprised us. It's a surprise every year. All of them are very good. All of them have a lot of information. The workshops organized, they make us to interchange information from people from different parts of the world. But I really think that one of the most meaningful ceremonies was the ceremony organized in the cruise ship. It was not a common ceremony because we were used to celebrate ceremonies in big salons, as we did it over the water. It was totally different. I think that I did not participate in that one. I did not have the opportunity to attend that. All the ceremonies organized by World Cup have been splendid, but the meaningful aspect was the cruise. It was something that really caught my attention. It's because we always celebrate ceremonies in big salons, etc.
I have no more questions, so my last, I will allow me myself to ask a question to Professor Binafsha Mansour Sayed. Your final words, considering that you're representing, because we have the opportunity to listen to Dr. Beatrice talking about the reality of an NGO and how they work with the breast cancer awareness. And now we have Dr. Cochrane representing a pharmaceutical commercialization and distribution company, and you represent somehow the academy and the research. And so your final words, speaking about this not only the results of your research, but also the challenges because of the pandemic the past 2 years, and how it affected your institution in the education processes and the research processes, right?
Yeah, it was initially it was really difficult because we were at that time not used to online teaching, and even our staff was not trained. Our infrastructure for online teaching was not that developed at that time. So all of a sudden, when we had this all closure, and so for first couple of weeks, our whole setup was in a phase of like blackout. We could not even think what we are going to do. So then eventually everything was moved towards online. but the impact of physical teaching is much more stronger as compared to online teaching. So we do not think the quality of education that was provided online is as good as physical teaching, especially when we say medical teaching, because we then have human interaction. The patient interaction is very, very important. Even in clinical examinations, if they do not learn it on patients, then it's very difficult for them to go in the market and see the patients as a doctor. The other most important thing that we faced was, again, same, the treatment of patients. The hospitals were closed, and even some of our doctors were affected. So it was a fear that what is going to happen. And in a way, fortunately or unfortunately, but my department has a laboratory, and we had our samples coming up every day. So we were not closed. The way we were working, we were short of reagents, we were short of chemicals, we were short of human resource. So managing everything was a really difficult job. And then after that, when students are coming back, most of them are affected by this financial issues. Previously they were affording, but now they cannot afford even their regular fees, annual fees. Given that we are a government sector university, but still we charge some nominal fees. But most of the students, they are now in a financial crisis. Their parents cannot afford this fees. So this is new upcoming issue, and we are facing it, and we think that this number will be increasing. So these are the really big issues that we are facing at the moment. And also every now and then, again, having this episode of closures. We are having the outbreak of COVID in one institution, then again closed. So it's like unpredictable situation at the moment.
Yes. And it's taking much time that we expected.
Yeah.
Dr. Beatrice, maybe closing words, please.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to say that the COVID came with its negative problems, but I think we also learned a lot from COVID. Listening to the university programs that they had to switch to and other things. We also started the drug refill system, and also sending patients their medications whilst they don't have to come to the hospital, so that the patient to doctor interaction also became stronger through the interface of internet, instead of them staying at home and not talking to anybody. So I must say that there are innovations that we can always touch on. And I thank World Corp for bringing us together. Already we've started talking with Professor Said about collaborative research that we can do with breast cancer. So thank you for bringing us together and for letting us have this system. A lot of people are listening to us from Ghana and other African countries, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thanks to you. And Hugo Cochrane, por favor, tus palabras de cierre entonces y el agradecimiento nuevamente.
Mr. Cochrane, some remarking words. Thank you very much for your presence today. No, thanks to you, really. Thank you, Daniel. In order to close, I just need a minute in order to say that the important thing is to work each one from our own place towards the fight against this pandemic that is have us all isolated without having the company of people that we love. So we have to still working and monitor what the World Health Organization promised, that once they found the first vaccine, the vaccine will reach every corner of the world, and this is not happening. There are many countries that does not have vaccines or are not enough So I believe that what we're not understanding clearly is that this pandemic is not going to end until we not vaccinate each person of the world. So in order to close this webinar, I would like to say that among all of us, we have to try to help in order to vaccinate the world, because this is the only way to put an end to this pandemic, because it's not worth it that only rich countries are vaccinated and the poor is not. All world has to be vaccinated. The pharmaceutical industry has to be more generous, grant the patents, as it should be done for each one of the developments of these drugs. Now is not a time of patterns, it's a time of vaccines. So thank you. Thanks to you. It was an excellent presentation.
Dr. Beatrice Wiafe, Professor Binafsha Sayed, and Hugo Cochrane. I really feel proud about these members, organizations that show their business excellence in the healthcare sector, but also their concern about the social impact of their activities and how organizations are working for good and for a better planet. Thanks again. And for the closing words, I want to invite again my friend, our CEO and founder of WorkUp, Mr. Jesus Moran.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. And of course, thanks, Dr. Beatrice. Gracias, Hugo. Professor Binafsha, of course, also thank you for your time, especially congratulations for the excellent presentations that we saw and heard this morning from your side. Hugo, también muchísimas gracias por tu presentación, por seguir conociendo más. Recuerdo mucho la visita que tuve.
Hugo, I remember your visit when we had the chance to get to know us far when I traveled to Rosario, and that time it's close to my heart. I hope to see you soon.
Your company as a work family, of course, Breast Care, as well as Drogueria Rosfar. And I hope that we can meet, I know that we're going to meet in Toronto. So to the 100 of members and non-members watching this webinar through a live transmission, especially through our virtual platform, BizzDome, located now at bizzwebinars.com. And of course, the ones that are retransmitted into LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. All of them, thank you for your time. If you get here late or you want to see the presentations again, you can do this until this weekend in our on-demand version in this platform in the same domain that I just told you about, www.bizzwebinars.com. You can also visit, and we invite you to visit our BIZZ Winners Hall, and of course, also our booths, which are the BIZZ Events booth, which is our main brand, our new brand, I'm sorry. They're about to launch, and of course, our also World Cup booth. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Danielle. Take care and stay safe. See you soon.
Thanks, Jesus. Thanks to our speakers, and thanks to everybody that have joined us in this webinar. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.